Um, Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lukas Lengaue. Thank you very much for the invitation to this event. I hope you can hear me all properly. I work at the Vienna Business Agency. I'm part of the Technology Services department, and I'm head of the Sustainable Technologies team there. And this afternoon, I would like to talk about Vienna on the road towards climate neutrality. What are you going to expect, or what to expect in the next couple of minutes? I will talk a bit about the strategies of the city of Vienna in this field of decarbonization. Then I will shed some light on a couple of highlight projects that are already up and running, and some that are about to start soon. And finally, I will give you some information about Vienna's offer for sustainable technologies companies that might be interested in setting up a subsidiary in Vienna. So this was too fast. Yeah. So Vienna is indeed Austria's capital for sustainable technologies. I would say it's even a capital for sustainable technologies in Central Europe. There are about 500 dedicated life sciences companies that are active in the fields of red and green biotech. They employ about 23,000 people that develop and produce their products in Vienna. The even bigger sector of sustainable solutions companies, so sustainable technologies companies, comprises about 9,000 companies, which generate about 16% of total sales here. This is also reflected in the city as a living space. Vienna is indeed a city where sustainability plays a big role. This is reflected in the built environment, in the green spaces, in the public social infrastructure, but also in the public transport infrastructure. And so Vienna has been ranked the most livable city for many consecutive years by Mercer. To build on these strengths and to even develop them further, Vienna has set high goals for itself. It developed an overarching strategy, Vienna's Smart City Framework Strategy, which is the long-term foundation of Vienna's transformation into an even more sustainable urban living space. And sustainability is not only important in urban development strategies, but also in Vienna's economic development strategy, which is probably less evident or less the case in other cities. So just getting a bit too fast. The Smart City Framework Strategy basically defines that Vienna will be climate neutral by 2040. The newest edition of this strategy will come out soon. And Vienna will be climate neutral, and at the same time will strengthen and increase the quality of life for its citizens, while significantly reducing the use of primary resources. And this shall be made possible through technological and social innovation. In Vienna's economic development strategy, sustainability also plays a strong role. On this slide, you can see these 6 triangles which define Vienna's areas of leadership. These are the areas where Vienna wants to position itself most strongly, and at least 2 of them explicitly have to deal with sustainability. One is Vienna as a metropolis of health, and the other is smart solutions for life in the 21st century city. And this even goes beyond the city of Vienna, of course. In this area, scalable urban solutions shall be developed that can be exported and transferred to other cities as well. And of course, in the field of smart production, eco-efficiency is also a huge topic. So just to sum up, smart and sustainable solutions are key elements of this economic development strategy. Products and services to tackle climate change are emphasized. They are given high priority. Climate change adaptation is, of course, also an important topic, and sustainable mobility too. And all these topics shall be strengthened or dealt with in a participatory and inclusive way that includes the city population. And now to some more concrete highlights, leaving the level of strategies and coming to concrete projects. The first is concerning photovoltaics. Photovoltaics rollout will be of utmost important in the coming years. By the year 2025, the installed PV capacity shall rise by 500%. And by 2030, PV will contribute about 10% of Vienna's electricity demand. Of course, public space is scarce in a city, and thus it's mainly the roofs and the facades, or almost exclusively the roofs and the facades, that will be used for PV rollout. Public buildings will be the front runners in this endeavor, but there's also a huge number of incentives and funding programs for private investors. And of course, roofs are not only interesting for PV or for electricity production. Roofs are also needed for rainwater retention, and so a combination between green roofs and PV is going to be the target in the next couple of years. A very big project that has already finished 1 year ago is EOS. The project was running for more than 10 years, and it was a project by Vienna's central wastewater treatment facility. And it's about energy from sewage sludge, energy optimizing sludge treatment. That's the title of the project. About 10 years ago, Vienna's wastewater treatment consumed about 1% of total electricity demand in Vienna. After the implementation of the sludge treatment facility, Vienna's wastewater treatment is able to produce more electricity than it needs for itself, thus being able to sell electricity to households in the surroundings. And with becoming a net energy producer, the wastewater facilities helps to save more than 40,000 tons of CO2 emissions every year. So that's really one of the biggest individual projects we have in Vienna. Another very important issue is district heating, or generally the decarbonization of the heating system and also the cooling system. Until now, about roughly 50% of Vienna's households use district heating, and most of it is generated by waste incineration and by cogeneration plants that burn fossil gas to generate power and heat. By 2030, 40% from the energy sources will come from renewables, and by 2040, 100% will come from renewable energy. That's a huge effort. The main pillar here will be deep geothermal. Right now, drilling is in progress, and it looks pretty good that deep geothermal energy will be able to substitute a large part of the fossil input we still have in the system today. Then the integration of large-scale heat pumps has already begun. They also will contribute to the decarbonization of the system. And finally, the cogeneration plants will switch from natural gas to green gas and hydrogen in the coming years. We're not only talking about climate change mitigation, of course, we are also talking about climate change adaptation. And here, water is an important issue. Even in a Central European city like Vienna, water becomes an issue and becomes scarce in the future. And one important aspect in this regard is sustainable rainwater management. In summer, we have strong and heavy rainfalls, and it's important to keep water in the ground and not letting it run off into the sewer system too fast. So we are experimenting with a variety of technologies to foster water retention. In Seestadt, one of the biggest urban development areas in the city, the sponge city concept is rolled out, which basically works like that. A porous water retention layer is being installed beneath the entire road surface. And here, water after rainfalls can stay or can be kept close to the root areas of the trees. This, of course, makes the trees live longer, they stay healthier, which has, of course, a big cooling effect for their surroundings, is good for groundwater levels, and also spares capacity of the sewage system, which sometimes is kind of heavily under pressure during the strong rainfalls in summer. Moreover, circular economy has become an important issue in Vienna, as probably in all cities all over the world. There is one very interesting initiative, the Do Tank Circular City 2020 to 2030. It's an initiative of the city of Vienna, and it aims at a fundamental transformation and reorganization of the building process and the construction industry in Vienna. It focuses, of course, on reduction, reuse, and recycling, and has a strong focus on sustainable building materials on the one hand, and also on the reuse of whole building components like windows, tiles, wooden floors that could be reused in new buildings and in retrofit buildings. The Do Tank focuses strongly on the regulatory framework, which is necessary to make circular economy business models competitive. And it also tries to help SMEs and startup companies to find partners, lead users, lead customers to initiate demonstration projects, pilot projects in the city of Vienna. So I think the framework conditions today are very attractive in Vienna. There is a very strong political backing for this deep ecological transformation of the whole regional economy. And moreover, there's also a very attractive funding landscape and support landscape in Vienna. And here, the Vienna Business Agency is a very central player that tries to help companies set up a subsidiary, build a company, and make business here. And I want to finish with talking about some of the offers, some of the programs the Vienna Business Agency has to offer. So first, very interesting for most of the companies, of course, is we provide funding for research centers, funding for R&D projects, funding for innovation projects. So there's a good public funding landscape, public funding available for young companies, for small and medium-sized companies. Moreover, we provide services, a broad portfolio of services. We help companies to navigate through the funding landscape. Public funding not only consists of the funds offered by the city of Vienna, but more importantly, even also of the funds that are offered by the federal level in Austria. And Vienna Business Agency helps companies to find their way through the big, some would say, supermarket of potential funding programs, grants, calls, that are probably not so easy to navigate through on one's own. Then we have a strong focus on enabling, on getting things done. We want to help companies to make the right connections, find the right business partners, find the right research and innovation partners. So we provide matchmaking opportunities with our events that we host and organize. We provide co-creation labs that specifically focus on making cross-industry connections possible and aims at initiating cross-industry projects. Together with universities in Vienna, we run a high-tech incubator for university spin-offs. We run a startup academy, and we try to attract talent from abroad, and not only attract talent from abroad, but help expats settle in. We have an expat center with a new business immigration office that helps you settle, that helps you make the connections, that helps you doing all the bureaucratic stuff which is involved with relocating to another country, another city, a new city. We also try to provide expertise on different technological fields. We publish technology reports. I just have here examples of some that are provided by my team. We have also a team focusing on digital technologies, another team focusing on life sciences. So we provide technology reports that's basically easily accessible texts on technological trends. But probably more importantly, we provide extensive information about the Vienna scene in the particular technological domain. So you find comprehensive lists of the players that are active in Vienna, both in the business sector, but also in the research sector, also the public institutions that are playing a role, for example, in rainwater management or in urban energy. So that's a very easy and accessible first orientation where you can see what's the who is who in the particular field in the Vienna region. That was too fast. Yeah, and of course, we also organize a lot of business events. One that is probably most important in this field for the international community is our Smart City Summit, which will take place in May 2022. It's an event which is bringing together city experts, startups, SMEs, and academics around the topic of smart and sustainable cities. So you can find out more about interesting projects going on in Vienna, but we are also happy to showcase and present fresh ideas from abroad, interesting contributions from cities all over the world. Last year, we had examples from Bangkok, from Portugal, from Iran, from many different places. Very soon, we will publish a call, not so much for abstracts or for, but a call for presentations. So I'm happy to share it with you and the organizers of IFA Duration. So maybe you have interesting ideas that you want to present during our Smart City Summit in May 2022. If you're interested in Vienna as a business location, if you want to find partners in Vienna, or if you think of setting up a subsidiary here, of course, you can contact me earlier than May. Just contact me as soon as you would like to. I'm happy to talk to you. Here are my contact details. I think Vienna is definitely an attractive place to do business, and I would be happy to talk about that with you in the coming days and weeks. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope it was interesting for you, and I hope to talk to some of you soon. Bye-bye.